okay?
Do I look okay to you?
What happened to Lugo isn't our fault.
Don't tell me what I already know. Lugo's blood is on your hands, not mine. Bang.
Conrad deserves to die, you know that.
And what do we deserve?
I think we both know the answer to that.
So, how we gonna do this?
Kill everything that fucking moves.
Sounds like a plan.
Hello everyone, Space Oyster here, and welcome back to Spec Ops The Line. And I guess that is the 33rd reacting to
You ready?
Why not?
just how crazy just how crazy competent Walker and Delta are. Anyway.
You want me to kill this fucker?
Anyway, sorry about the weird cuts right there. I died about 3 times doing this section, and they did not really work well. I really had to cut around it. Cut back to right where you jumped in to the combat section here, well, a little bit before there, and it did not flow well. I could not leave it in. So I just cut to the one successful attempt and decided to go from there. Chapter 14 is easily the toughest chapter in the game in terms of combat. Because once again, we have only Adams to assist us, so we have no long-range assistance, and instead of 3 people to fight these waves of enemies, we have 2. If Adams ever goes down, we have to make sure we pick him up. Yeah, basically, not having Lugo really tough. And so is my choice of weapons. This shotgun wasn't really a good choice. Well, not for right now. It gets useful later on in the chapter, though. But yeah, so just some odd cutting around, because, yeah, I needed to get in that successful attempt, and it did not flow in well with the unsuccessful attempts. Yeah, with my unsuccessful attempts, I tried to approach this turret from the left, and that ended up actually being a bad idea. Going at it from the right is so much better. I should have sprinted up there and taken the turret myself, but I didn't think to do that this time. I did have to come back through and re-record on this chapter. I just played through that section. I just played through that on easy for that. And yeah, I made sure to take the turret that time, and it was so much smoother. But that was probably because it was on easy mode. On easy, it just seems like the enemies don't even know how to use their guns. It was really sad. I'd hate to see this game on tougher difficulties. I'm barely able to handle it on the medium setting. Or I guess this is technically standard. No, I thought I stuck it to that guy. Well, knocked him down, so at least I was able to... I don't even know what Walker did there. Anyway, unlike in the last chapter, we actually do have some non-diegetic background music, and I did use that correctly. Diegetic is music that both the audience and the people in the work can hear. Non-diegetic refers to music only the audience can hear. Yeah, they did turn it on for a few parts in that last one, but for the most part, the last chapter is really silent. Oh, right, and one thing actually on the startup screen, or the menu select screen, that's you can hear some helicopter blades in the background with the national anthem, but you can only hear it at specific parts of the game, usually the first couple of chapters and then the last couple of chapters. Anyway, we got an intel item up the stairs, right around here.
As an occupying force, it is important to set a good example. As such, please keep in mind the following protocols. Grooming standards are to be kept at all times. No fraternization with civilians of any kind. When off duty, please keep music, etc. at a reasonable volume, so as not to disturb the local population. Absolutely no drugs or stimulants except as provided by medical personnel. Alcohol restricted to 1 beer per soldier per day, with a meal as available. Share time on the putting green or access will be revoked. Each offense will warrant 5 demerits. 5 demerits receives an official warning. 10, 2 weeks hard labor. 15, public flogging. Looting and excessive force are not tolerated and will be met with the strictest punitive measures.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention actually is about this game's loading screens. They're actually a big part of it, especially from Chapter 13 on, but if you're playing this game well, you're never going to see those loading screens. So they could have done more to incorporate the elements from those into the game itself. I think I threw one into the last part. In a section where the screen just went black, I threw in a loading screen there.
Welcome to Hell, Walker.
Well, shit.
We've been waiting for you.
I don't know if it's a good idea to let them get close.
We need to take out that mortar!
Another shot from that mortar and we're fucking dead!
Use that RPG to take it out! I'll keep these guys busy!
Alright. So I had to make another cut right around here-ish. Yeah, didn't really flow well together. But, you want to make sure you can get across to the other side. I think they're just going to keep coming until I move.
He's dead!
Seems like it. Anyway, I'm just gonna flash those guys there so they can't hit me. This is definitely the game's toughest part. There are turrets everywhere, they're entrenched, and you have to keep pushing towards them. They're not gonna make it easy for you at all. Like, weirdly enough, this is one of the sections where I had more trouble during my Let's Play than I did during my practice run. Like, usually the practice run ended up being worse, but this time around it was the Let's Play. Adams has been weirdly confrontational, but he's also really gung-ho about shooting at all these guys. Maybe he's hoping he won't survive the events. Well, I don't know. It's kind of tough to tell.
Watch it, they're slipping through!
Sorry, thought I heard something. It was nothing. Alright. Keep moving forward. Yeah, Adams. Cover your eyes. Anyway, right here, I made a stupid decision and tried to rush forward and immediately died. I put in a loading or that loading screen I left in. You're still a good person. Yeah, they start to get more... Well, they start to ignore the fourth wall. Anyway, this death, it loaded me in right here without the enemies. I think it's because I hit a checkpoint. So it flagged that checkpoint as being tagged, even though I didn't actually kill any of the enemies that were around that checkpoint. So really neat. I wouldn't recommend staying on this turret too long. There's not a lot to do there. I was trying to find a weapon to swap this for, but I forgot where they were placed, which is just around this other corner there. So I just kept going.
Kill is fucking confirmed.
Sorry, my notes are a little bit not good for this part. Like, they're mostly just on sections we haven't gotten to yet. And, I don't know really what else I can talk about. But, like, with the Freudian trio and the Milgram experiment, that's pretty much everything I can bring up on the psychological side. The other ones are related to post-traumatic stress disorder, but I don't really know enough about PTSD to speak on it well. I do know that they were trying to explore the effects of PTSD, but personally, I am not the person who should be talking about whether or not they implemented it successfully. Only one thing I really know well about PTSD is that there's a misconception that it's only tied to war and combat scenarios, but it is not necessarily just those. Alright. So, with this section up ahead, I did have to make a few cuts. You get another noticeable loading screen if you get killed in this very next section, and like the last time, I didn't actually die on my initial playthrough, and I had to come back through on easy.
Another fucking enemy! Take cover, goddammit!
Lugo!
You out of your fucking mind?
You left me to die!
Shit! Open fire!
Don't you get it? It's all a lie! No! You little fucking hero! I tried to save you! You can't save anyone! I tried!
Yeah, so I showed my successful attempt first.
We should keep moving.
Walker.
They'll be on us soon.
There's only you.
Here's gonna be what happens if you get killed by the Lugo Heavy. And I threw in another loading screen there that said Adams blames Walker for Lugo's death, and it's his fault that they didn't leave Dubai. It's a little ambiguous, like, is the game blaming Walker that we haven't left Dubai? Or Adams blaming Walker? Or is Adams blaming himself for not leaving Dubai? Yeah, but this is on easy, and as you can see, the guy is really stupid, so I shot myself. And then you just reload right back here. And when you go to the door again, the Lugo Heavy will be replaced with a regular Heavy, and Walker won't react to it any differently than he does other regular Heavies.
Gotta go!
Heavy is down! Repeat! Heavy trooper is fucking down!
Anyway, there's that scenario. And that sign on the door, I forgot to take a good look at it, but it's a rather hilarious sign. It says, "No guns allowed. Violators will be shot." And I guess it's up to you to decide whether or not Walker and Adams are breaking that rule or enforcing it. And likewise with the Delta forces we're encountering in here.
No time like the present!
And then the Lugo Heavy, he also drops a really good gun. I don't quite recall the name of it, but it's really powerful. Really useful for getting through these last couple of combat sections.
He's in the open!
Come on, Adams. Learn how to use cover.
On your feet! We gotta move!
If only I hadn't wasted my grenade blowing up a TV. I don't know what I was thinking when I threw it. Anyway, intel item here.
To my men, I don't need to remind you of the events which have led us here. We are each branded by our actions, for good or ill. Yes, there is darkness to come, but take heart, for the storm will soon break. There will be chaos in the coming days. As your commander, I know you will persevere. You are the damned 33rd. It's been the greatest honor of my life to serve alongside you. That is why I can trust you with this final order. No matter what, endure. Be ever vigilant. Hold the line.
Sorry, hold the line always gets me teary. Or Morden. Well, not Morden, it was the other guy. Anyway, not the point. The point is, Conrad seems to sound very different in these intel items than the Conrad we've been meeting in this game. Maybe he snapped too. Yeah. Like this, I think that says a AA-12. Makes short work of this heavy. Really sad. Or really overpowered. I don't know. Probably both. I did read that you only get it if you defeat the heavy Lugo, but I think I remember on one of my playthroughs that I actually did legitimately die fighting heavy Lugo, and then I still got it anyway from the regular heavy afterwards. Anyway, cutscene.
Shit! Here they come! Fuck you! Just shoot me! I'm standing right here! Come on! Secure the building! Shoot me, goddammit! Fucking shoot me!
This is your last chance, Walker. Surrender, or my men will cut you down.
Don't you dare! Well, fuck you then! I didn't come this far to surrender! It's the only way inside that tower! The fuck's sake! Give it up! The mission's over! We failed! Not while I'm still breathing! Fine! Then keep breathing! Run, motherfucker!
Damn it, Walker! Run!
Why am I juggling this instead? I think that was the first time Adams actually responded to Conrad. I think.
I'm sorry, Walker.
Or maybe he was just...
Knew it would end this way.
Maybe he was just responding to Walker there. Tough to tell.
The friends dead. The world on fire. And you alone. You're a failure. Finally, something we have in common.
What's with all that water? It's supposed to be scarce. Why aren't they rationing this out to all the refugees? Now, one thing I can't believe I forgot to mention before this point, this game has a lot of shaky cam and I don't like it. Like, it's jarring and it makes me uneasy, but I don't like it. They should not have used shaky cam because shaky cam is stupid. Wait, that's why we can't use that water. Fish shit in it. Anyway, that's gonna be all for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Spaced Oyster, signing out.